everybody. Good afternoon. It's another absolutely beautiful day where I'm coming to you from. And I'm so happy to welcome you to another Cacoa Tea. It's Cacoa Tea time, folks. Hope you guys are ready. We have an exciting show geared up for you. And I am going to start off the show slightly different from the norm, how I would usually start off my shows. You could probably see I have something else in my box going on out there. But I just want to announce my collaboration with Capri Culture, which is a Bajan carnival band. So we're going to talk a little bit about them for like 2 seconds just before we start off the show. So I want to say good afternoon to folks and welcome you guys on to another Cacoa Tea edition. I'm so happy that I could be here with you guys and bring you another show today. So yeah, as I was saying, Capri Culture is a company. They actually design costumes and they have a costume band. And they've partnered with me. So we're doing this neat collaboration for, of course, Crop Over 2018. How many of you are going to Barbados for Crop Over? I mean, if you're going to Barbados for Crop Over, let me see your hands. Let me see your hands if you're going to be in Barbados for Crop Over, because I can guarantee you're going to have a blast. But the best way to have a blast is still playing mass with Capri Culture. And they have an exciting band, an exciting lineup. I cannot even tell you about the lineup. It's like, I swear it's like top secret, right? So they have this amazing lineup for you guys. Beautiful costumes. But in order to get that chance to win something, of course, you're going to win a free costume for Crop Over 2018. You got to do 3 simple things. You got to share, you got to follow, and you got to subscribe. All the information is on here for you. It's also on the website. It's on my Facebook page. So you got to share. There are the hashtags that you must share. There are 2 Facebook and Instagram accounts that you must follow. And there is 1 page that you must subscribe to. That is 1 website you must subscribe to in order to get a chance to win. Make sure you fill out your information when you subscribe, because that's the only way we're going to know about you and be able to get you your prize. I want to say welcome to the folks coming on right now. I see Sarah is on, Sarah John Jules, and I want to shout out all my girls who always locked in. My guys too, you know, all my girls who are always locked in. My girls like Sarah out in the UK. My girl like Elon out there in Tampa, Florida. I also want to shout out my Dominique and Massive that's always locked in. I want to say special good afternoon to Madeline in Toronto. And we have an exciting show for you today. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guests who are going to be on with us today. Yes, and they're already standing by, ready to go. So we're going to be getting them in on the show today. You see them in the little box. Wave to me, I guess. Wave. we got my guests here with me, and we're gonna get started. I literally I started following one of my guests on Facebook because somebody told me about her. One of my other guests, which I'll tell you a little bit about it. You know, I'm calling one of. But one of my guests, I've known her for quite some time. I knew her when I first met her father, then I met her. When I owned a spa, she actually came to my spa, right? How you doing? We're not going to talk about that. I just met the one right in the middle, the one that's split in the middle. I just met this guest, and we have an exciting show planned for you. I want to just give you a little bit of background on my 3 guests who are on here with me today. We have Kayla. So Kayla will wave. Kayla is actually representing Project Aware, but more importantly, her own company called Our Salty Passports. So she will tell us a little bit about what she does. Of course, if you need any information on Kayla, if you need to follow her, if you probably think she's cute, although I think she's taken, you could follow her. The links are actually listed above this broadcast. So everybody's links or how you can connect with them is listed above the broadcast. And we have Rory split in the middle. Rory, wave. Wave, Rory. And Rory is from Recycle Rebuild, which is a UK Scottish charitable Inc. registered charity which empowers communities to recycle waste into affordable, high quality materials and products. Just to give a little highlight on Rory. Rory will tell us a little bit more about what he's about. And of course, we have the lovely Janelle. And not that you guys are not lovely. I mean, it's just that who is, of course, representing While Dominique, which is a non-profit, just literally got their papers like recently, right? So she's a non-profit organization, which is, of course, approved by the government of Dominica. And their mission is to support, promote sound conservation practices in Dominica through environmental education, community engagement, research, species preservation, and, of course, policies. So we have these three lovely people here with us on Cacoa Tea. You guys have your Cacoa Tea? Let me see. Look at those mugs.
Cheers.
Let me see your mug. What do your mug have on it? Nothing, Kayla?
We're very boring today.
Oh, sorry.
We're not at any of our houses, so we had to borrow some mugs.
First of all, where are you guys right now? Tell me.
We're at PBH, Portsmouth Beach Hotel, because they have reliable internet, which is something lacking everywhere else on the island right now.
Wow. So I hope you guys subscribe or you're not thieving internet, as we like to call it.
No, we are not. This is legal. Sponsored by PBH for the evening.
Okay. And you guys all came together. First, I want to know, how did the three of you meet? Because first of all, Kayla, you're not Dominique, and neither are you Rory. How did the three of you meet? Who wants to go first?
I'll try to do it as efficiently as possible.
Okay.
So Janelle's obviously from here. She's been here. She lives here. It's a small island. I've been here for 2 years, and we have plenty of friends in common, with family in common, all the good stuff. Rory and I met through the magic of the internet. I was looking, in a non-weird way. I was looking for help to start recycling plastics, to actually recycle plastics on island. He was ready to do exactly that and knew exactly the kind of machine I was trying to build. And then it happened to be that Janelle and I were planning beach cleanups for the same day. And we had friends who were like, I wish I could go, but I can't go to both. So I have to pick one or the other. And we decided, instead of splitting our friends apart, we could all just come together and do even better. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Rory, were you always on island?
No, so I came in January as part of the international response to the hurricanes. So I came with my old charity that I used to work for before, Hands and Heart. So that was a charity focused on construction and repairs, mainly around schools. And then when this all kind of kicked off, I decided that I'd leave that charity and pursue recycling full time.
And are you now like living in Dominica, or you've like packed your bags and said goodbye to the UK? What's the deal?
I've been traveling around the world for the last 2.5 years, so I'm pretty much living in Dominica for a long time.
Which is awesome. We like that.
And Janelle, tell us, why did you decide, okay, I'm not gonna make this just about me. I'm gonna do this because a lot of folks have been following you ever since the hurricane. I'm sure you've gained quite a bit of momentum. After the hurricane, you made a few posts, that was shared quite a few times in terms of the level of pollution on the island following the storm. Why did you decide that, hey, I'm going to partner with these two people who I practically do not know, and do, I mean, I'm keeping it real, right? And do a project together?
Well, I mean, I kind of knew Kayla from before. To be honest, I didn't realize it was Kayla that was doing the other initiative at first until I met her first, and I was like, oh, Kayla, right. But I believe everything is better in partnership, especially in our field of conservation, recycling, environment, marine education. Everything works better in partnership because it's a really tough field that we have to face. So the more support you can get, the more momentum you can build. Yeah. Plus, I don't know. I feel like I've known them for a million years right now. So.
Well, with the amount of time that you guys have on the island, especially since Janelle, I just learned you just got power today. So, I mean, with the amount of time that people have doing practically nothing, I mean, it's good to actually come together and do something meaningful. So I must applaud you guys on your initiative. I want to start off with Kayla. Kayla, I need to know a little bit about your background, who you are, and what brought you to the nature island of the Caribbean.
So a little bit myself, I am from New York, but Southern California is kind of where scuba diving became my career, my profession, and kind of with that, marine conservation. You can't be an ambassador for the ocean without caring about what goes into and comes out of it. It's a huge part of, people think it's only a tourism thing. It's not. It's a huge environmental thing for me. So that's where I started teaching scuba diving. I always knew I wanted to leave the United States. I was just looking for the right place, for the right island probably. And I found Dominique years ago and just felt a kinship to the island, to the people that I met. And it has so many natural resources. It's not just the ocean, it's the soil that's super rich that you can just spit your seeds out and it grows plants. And these were all things that just spoke to me and my way of life. And so I came here with my husband to start a business and try to be as self-sustainable and community sustainable as possible. Obviously, the hurricane changes the way you do things, and it put this issue in the forefront for me, which was how to conserve and make sure that this beautiful ocean is just as beautiful for, my children, my friends' children, our future. And a big part of that ends up being in what ends up in the ocean, which is trash and debris. And obviously the hurricane added a lot of extra stress and extra debris to our beautiful nature island. So it's really important for me to speak for the ocean. A lot of people, even on this island, don't swim, don't ever look underneath the sea. They don't know what's happening under there, so they need someone to tell them. So I'm here to speak for the ocean.
Okay, that's fantastic. Welcome to Dominica. Although I'm not there, but I can see. Welcome, Rory. Same for you. What? Tell us a little bit about your business called Recycle Rebuild. So
I've been traveling around the world with a non-profit organization for the last 2.5 years.
Rory. You see your accent, right? Your accent real strong, right? You might probably be Dominican, but your accent real. So can you speak slowly?
So I've been traveling the world with a non-profit organization for the last 2.5 years. And it first started in the Philippines. And then eventually, kind of ended with Dominica. And everywhere I went, I always saw the same problems. No matter where you go, there's always a problem with recycling, with trash, and pollution. And so, working with all these other international agencies, I realized that there isn't really a charity, or there isn't many charities working in this kind of field. And when I came to Dominique, I realized there was no real recycling going on, and no real way for communities to get involved in this. I realized that's when I had to start Recycle the World. And that's when I met Kayla, and actually Kayla brought in some of the kind of tools in her effort to try and start this. And she really had the key tool I needed. So, it really kickstarted it.
Those teeth, man.
Yeah.
They're hard to find.
So now the idea is that we are trying to set up a recycling center in Dominica.
Awesome. And Janelle, you are from Wild Dominique. Why did you decide, hey, I'm gonna need to do something about this mess? Like, what actually? Because for a few years you did not actually live in Dominica. So give us a little bit of background on that, and then tell us why you returned home and why you're doing this.
So the reason I didn't live in Dominica for a few years is because I went away to study. And I studied wildlife ecology and conservation with minors in international study and natural resource law, with the aim to come back home and to change the field of conservation, to better it. And that's, why a lot of us go away is to better ourselves, to come back and better something else. So whilst I was away doing my undergraduate, I started doing a thesis project where I aimed at the schools here, 6th graders and 5th formers, and I asked them a series of questions about animals in Dominica. Do you recycle? Do you go hiking? Do you go to the beach? Things along that line. Essentially, it was to boast to people that we are the nature islands, so of course we are more in tune with nature. That was my thinking, and the results showed otherwise. It was really disappointing when I got out of the survey. It showed that there's a lack of environmental education in Dominica, and the kids today are growing up without knowing things. So with that, I started writing an environmental education program. So at first it was just going to be the program, and I was going to put it into the school system. But after a while, it turned into an actual NGO, because I realized that we need more than just an environmental program. There's a whole long list of conservation projects that need to be done in Dominica, and there needs to be somebody to actually get things going. So that's why I decided.
Awesome. Okay. Well, congratulations again on just getting all signed up and what they say, legal. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Just for those of you who are just coming on, I just want to welcome you on. Just some people may see the video having a bit of a delay. A few things are contributing to that. That includes where they actually are, and they're streaming off of the internet from a hotel. So I'm sure other people are probably using it, and that would probably pose a bit of an issue in terms of the delay. Don't worry, even if you see a delay, you can actually come back and view it. It will actually save without the delay. So you don't have to worry. You can actually come back and listen to it. It will be, the entire show will be on my website after. So that is www.jaeljoseph.com/PLOG, which is podcast log. In 24 hours, the video will be there as well as the audio, so you can go back on there and look at it, because I'm sure a few folks might be coming on and getting a little bit of feedback or a little bit of a delay, because I can hear it on my end. So I just want to let the folks know, if you want to listen while we're on, the best thing to do is probably put on headphones. I just actually grabbed mine, so you'll be able to hear them better. So we're here with Rebuild Recycle. We're here with Wild Dominique, and we're here with Project Aware and also our Salty Passports. I don't want to mix it up, right? So we're there with With all now, I want to ask a general question, and whoever wants to answer can go ahead and answer, because a lot of times, like you just mentioned, Janelle, a lot of people do not know jack shit about recycling or preserving or conserving or anything. I'm keeping it 100. Like, I remember when I moved to Canada and they told me I had to use 3 bins. I was like, for what? Why do I need to put one here and one there and one the other place, right? Everything is garbage as far as I'm concerned. It all goes in the same hole, right? Why is it important for us to preserve the environment, or even recycle, or even go green? To be a little bit more broad with it. Any one of you can respond.
I mean, I don't mind saying about with the plastics, and the plastic is a missed opportunity. This cap, a cap from a Coca-Cola or a Sprite bottle, I mean, that's just a bit of plastic, and then you see that all over Dominica. But especially with the cost of importing materials, and especially in the time we are in now with the response and the fact that everyone's buying things because they're trying to recover in time for the next hurricane season. If we could make that here in Dominica, sure that'd be an opportunity to create jobs, and that, as a byproduct, create sustainability. But to grow Dominique's economy and create new jobs from products that already are on island, and if you think, there was 700,000 kilograms of plastic shipped in the first few days of the initial response after Maria, and that's just in water bottles. And Dominicans now have those water bottles either in the landfill, or they're washed out to sea, or they were burned. So that's the kind of, it's a real opportunity. I don't know if you've got one.
Yeah, and then the problem with that question too is that a lot of times we forget that we are in the environment, we exist here, and whatever we do to the outside world affects us. So a lot of people fail to realize that we're throwing this trash away. If it accidentally gets into the ocean, it's going to break up into microplastic. Fish are going to feed on it. Bigger fish are going to feed on that. It's going to bioaccumulate. It's going to end up in us. And all those chemicals are going to have some kind of effect on us. Burning plastic, burning anything that's not from the natural world, I should say. It's going to have an effect on us. All of this comes back in a circle. It's going to pollute our water. They just came out with a statistic saying that 94% of the tap water in the US contains plastic. And it's because we're not properly disposing of our trash. And that's all going into us. So, yeah, it's just...
There are so many ways that the simple act of having a purpose for or a second life for something like this, it's not just that it's responsible, it will lead towards a better, potential climate future for all of us, but like Janelle was saying about, microplastics that you might be eating, if you also just want to be selfish for a minute, and we're on an island, there are people taking sea baths on the regular, you are walking on bottles, cans, it's hazardous to yourself, like you will cut yourself. It's not just galvanized roofing from the hurricane, it is your trash, your litter that is in the same water you're bathing in, the same water you're bringing your children in to learn to swim. And so even if you're coming from a totally selfish place, like there is a proper place for all of these things. There can be a second life for a lot of these things. So that's why education is important to all of us, to show people the difference between something that needs to find its proper place in a dump, the proper things that you can maybe burn, which is not plastic, ever, never, and what plastics you can bring to us to recycle, bring to Rory so that he can make proper things that can be used and that are sustainable for this island.
Yeah, and if you think about it, we're promoting the nature island, right? And especially after the hurricane, I'm doing forest plots across the island, and a lot of places I travel to, I'm just finding bits and pieces of trash everywhere, and it's like, that's what we're marketing. That's our selling point, is a nature island. So if we don't learn to dispose of our trash properly, are we really the nature island? Who are we? Can we really sell ourselves like that? And then, if we don't follow that green path, then what's going to happen to our tourism industry, what's going to happen to our fisheries, our forestry,
our reefs. Yeah, which reefs are protection from future hurricanes and swells and tsunamis and things like that. All of these things are connected, and it's really making people aware of what's outside of their bubble. So again, it's something that has to do with our partnership and working together, is taking you outside of the thing that you know the best. Of those effects and actions that we all share.
That's very nice to know. Everybody gave it a little piece, and I got I got a little bit of from everyone. I just want to shout out the folks who are coming on. Anne Marie is saying hello, and just so you guys know, you can ask questions to these three people at any time during the show. We'll pop it up on the screen, and if they're able to answer, they'll definitely answer. We also got Linda who's sending a thumbs up. Linda is actually connected in the UK. So I want to say hello to Linda. Somebody else, Kingsley Abraham, is also on and saying hello. So we have a few people viewing, a few people looking on, and feel free to leave your comments or ask any questions that you may have for any of the three guests we have on today. I'm gonna pose this question to Rory. Rory, okay, so you decided that you're gonna start this recycle. Is it a plant, like a recycling plant? When I say a plant, like a big factory? What exactly are you doing? Because when I think of like even when you spoke, I'm trying to play like keep it simple, stupid, all right? So I like to get to the level of everyone so that everybody understands exactly what you guys are doing. Now, when I hear you speak, I think of this, these heavy industrial places where they build trucks. So I think of you having one of those.
That's Dominique.
I'd be surprised if the car. No, I mean, the reality is recycling is very, very, very easy. And, okay, there are very big, huge recycling centers all over the world. But the problem is that one part in that machine breaks, and we know how hard it is to get the things to this island. If it breaks, you're never repairing it. And so the recycling center we're talking about is really a space where people can bring their plastic. And the first thing you want to do with plastic, like this cap, is you want to shred it up. What I have here, not many people can see, but it's like just powder. Just little bits of like green shredded plastic. Now that's just made from bottle caps. All we do is you have a little machine, a foot by a foot, and it chops up the plastic and turns it into this flour. And then once we've done that, we just have to heat and apply pressure. So if you guys imagine, I don't know, a sandwich press, when you're at home and you want to toast your sandwiches, exactly that. That is how this was made. It's just plastic pressed in a sandwich press. Because plastic, when you heat it up and you press it, it rejoins. So all these little bits of plastic turn into something. And then the idea is about scaling it up. You make it bigger. So in this one, this was toys. This was toys made that I found in the rubble, and it's just like Lego, but you just press it together. And now it's a piece of card, chopping board, whatever you decide to make it into. And that's the key. The next step of this recycling center is about creativity. Now, I'm creative, but I'm pretty sure everyone else in the world is equally more creative. And we can create anything you want. So in this case, the simple form is just a tile. So this is made from tarpaulin. So you take a waste product that's in Dominique now, and you turn it into something that could be used on your walls and your floor. But it could be made into a necklace. So this isn't necessarily made by me, but it's just a plastic object in the shape of a seaboard. And that is just as easy to make.
I was about to ask you if you're going to show off your necklace.
Yeah, probably. But anything, the reality is, your beautiful earrings could be made out of plastic. I know they're not, but they could be. And anything that we have in our houses, cups,
Door handles.
and especially when we're rebuilding, now there are loads of agencies in Dominique rebuilding houses and roofs, and there are a lot of plastic products that go into these houses, which are much smaller. And it's, we can do this in a space, the standard size of a garage. We don't need a big space.
Wow.
And so one or two people can actually make a huge difference. So right now, my space that I'm working right now is, a few feet, a few meters by a few meters.
Wow.
We're hoping to scale up and put a place right in the center of the town.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I want to digress slightly. I'm going to come back to you, Rory, but I want to ask, because I remember, and I think I mentioned that, right after the hurricane, Janelle posted something about, the level of debris that she found on the beach, and in one cleanup afternoon, she was able to actually pick up so much garbage, so much shite from the beach, right? Janelle, tell us a little bit about why did you decide to actually go and do this cleanup campaign on the beach, and then what did you later do? Because I heard you were actually weighing your garbage. Like, who does that?
You have to weigh your garbage. It's part of data. We're clearly geeks that all we care about is raw data. Like, we need everything.
We took our glasses up for this call.
Well, the whole point of weighing garbage or tallying it is so that we can report to people what we have, what is out there. Because, it's easy for us to say, oh, we went and we cleaned up a beach. But it's like, okay, what did you find? Was it like 5 bags or was it 30 bags? Because that's a huge difference. And what did you find in terms of items? Was it like plastic? Did it weigh a lot because of a lot of metals, or was it just so much plastic? So the reason we actually started cleaning up Champagne, that was our very first beach, is because I was there doing an iguana survey to see what happened to them after the hurricane. And as I was walking the beach with my boyfriend, and it was just astounding to see what a prime tourism site looked like after the hurricane, and it was so littered. So we picked up the trash, and then I was like, okay, we have to come back another day. So we came back 2 Sundays after that, and we only bought like 3 garbage bags because that's what we thought was left. And it turns out we found a whole mine of trash on that beach that we did not. Yeah, like we kept walking left those first 2 Sundays, and it turns out all the trash was on. Wow. So this time we got it right. And then we came back for a 3rd Sunday and tried to pick up everything else. So in total, we probably had like 27 bags. And at one point, we just had to give up because we were just starting to dig through so much. A lot of boulders and stuff came down there. So we just basically, did the best that we could. But the whole reason I started getting into weighing and tallying the trash for that is because people were telling me, oh, not Dominicans that are holding that trash, all that from the that it was washed up on shore by the hurricane. And I just couldn't believe, these were educated people who were telling me this. And I said, if they're saying this, a lot of other people must be saying the exact same thing. It's not us. Like they don't think it came from us whatsoever. We are not to blame. So my boyfriend and I sat there for 3 nights. Several hours. We went through every single plastic bottle. We got 684 plastic bottles just from one day. Because the other 2 Sundays we didn't have those bags still. So we had the bags from the 3rd Sunday, and that was 684 plastic bottles. We went through each one of them, and we identified their brand and their size, also with everything else, but we mostly focused on the plastic bottles. And it turned out to be number 1 was Buster, number 2 was Bluebell, And then we had Quenchy. We even got Soca Rum and Red Cap.
Red Cap.
Yeah. So Twapito, Sprite, Coke. You know, it's just everything we consume. And then in the top 5, we had 3 of them were me and Dominique. So, you know, it was just, yeah, that's why we started going on with these beach campaigns to raise awareness of what was really going on, because it seemed that people just, they didn't want to take the blame for it, and we realized we had to do something about that and raise awareness on what was really going on here.
And thank you very much for that, Janelle. I just have a question. Does your boyfriend share the same passion as you? I mean, like, I can imagine garbage.
He doesn't really have a choice.
He shows up.
Like, hanging with me? You're gonna go through garbage bags with me.
Shout out to him for
Okay, now moving across to you, Kayla. You have the privilege of exploring the under the sea aspect of it. So we might see stuff on land, and then we might say, "Oh, the beach dirty," you know. "Oh, the beach looks clean." What is your experience like in terms of the amount of shite that is under the sea, even following a hurricane?
So I'm going to be 100% honest. This was something I was dealing with before the hurricane on this island. It was a problem before. There's always been a problem underwater because less people deal with it. You get the NEP that will deal with the on the land stuff, the beaches and the tourist areas pre-hurricane, and even now, but they're not in the water. They're not going to go under the water and collect anything. So you have certain areas like Indian River that we just cleaned up, where because it's primarily the beaches used by fishermen, they dump stuff in it. People dump stuff off the road, goes through the river, ends up in that area underwater. That because no one ever sees, there was more debris on the seafloor than there was rocks or sand or the normal, any of the normal substrate that you would expect. There was more debris than actual, just what should be the seafloor. So it's really disturbing. You go to other areas. We've been cleaning up. We adopted Tukari Bay because that's where we live. We adopted Tukari Bay as a place that we will clean up underwater regularly, at least once a month. We've done about 9 cleanups in the past 2 months, so I don't think once a month is exactly enough to handle the amount of stuff that we're still seeing ending up in there. But you see a big difference in the areas that are tourism areas and areas that clearly people care about, and the areas that are the party areas like Purple Turtle, where the stuff just flows into the ocean regularly. And again, people bathe there, people hang out. That's where everyone goes on the weekends to hang out in the water, and they have no idea that right under their feet is galvanized broken bottles, cans, and all of these things. It's very difficult because even though we're on an island, plenty of people don't swim here. Plenty of people don't, even the fishermen might not know what's under the water until it comes up onto their boat. So there's a lot more education that needs to be done as far as what's under the water, what's going on with our reefs right now, the reefs that did withstand the hurricane, that are surviving and thriving. They need assistance. They don't need all of this runoff, even from non-organic farming practices. You're getting pollutants in the water. You're all kinds of things, not just our actual litter and trash, but you're getting contaminants in the ocean that are affecting the algae growth. They're affecting the water temperatures, and all of these things are going to negatively affect the amount of fish that we have for people to eat, the water, the safety of the water for people to bathe in and enjoy. So there's a lot happening under there that people just don't know about. And for me, it's trying to pull people in, not only locally, but tourists as well, and, make it nice for them to see, but also, we need help to get back to a nice starting point. So we need to get rid of the hurricane debris that's causing a big problem, but also show people, like Janelle said, it's not just hurricane debris. We can't just blame the hurricane for everything. When I clean up a beach and then the next time I come back, there's no galvanized, there's only bottles and cans, I'm not going to blame the hurricane. So people need this responsibility is a big part of, where we're at.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned, about, the fish and all of that stuff being affected. I remember as a child, like, I mean, I'm not very old, but when I was a child, my dad actually he had fishing boats. So he did quite a bit of fishing. And when he didn't go out, he had people who would go out and stuff. And I remember once my mom was cleaning fish and when she cut the fish open, there was like a bottle cap in there. And I was like, the fish? How did the fish get a bottle cap? But you don't pay attention to that. You just throw it away. You're like, whatever, next, you just move on from that. So clearly something's going on down there.
Creating a habitat. We had, we're picking up galvanized and we have to look underneath and make sure we're not pulling out animals. And when we do pull them out, we have to see if we can get them back in the water in time. And unfortunately, you can't always do that. So you have to think about how we are negatively affecting this environment, this habitat for these creatures. If the entire life they know is living in galvanized or living in a gutter or a beer bottle or beer can, like these octopus that we find all the time, it's, these are very intelligent creatures that we are snuffing out their lives purely because someone couldn't take the time to throw this in the proper bin or couldn't put it in a bin at all.
Wow. Okay. Kayla, I'm still touching on you. Yeah. You are a diving instructor. And I don't know if people who are viewing right now, who will be listening later on, are aware of that. But I think Dominica was named one of the best free diving islands in the world. How has the hurricane affected that? Or has it? Or is it better? What exactly is going on?
Dominica is still, to me, one of the best dive and free dive locations in the world. That's part of why I moved here. I've been diving all over the world, and we have a really biodiverse situation here. We have amazing reefs where they are protected. Unfortunately, though, it's something that could use a little boost of help, a little bit of assistance, a little conservation education assistance, a little assistance educating fishermen, too. So we find ghost pots a lot. These things, they kill more animals that fishermen could be catching and using as part of their income. I think, again, the hurricane did cause a lot of damage. There are definitely reefs that I've seen toppled over because of the hurricane, but we have certain features, thanks to how our island is built, that won't go away anytime soon. We have phenomenal walls that are just drop-offs, which a lot of people come here for. In the north, like I said, we have these beautiful boulder fields and a lot of different kinds of coral. Another thing that we're trying to do is to develop more of this coral to create an area for restoration. So as we clean up and remove this debris, remove this trash and hurricane debris, we replace it with healthy corals. We replace it with an area that's actually being maintained and monitored, and not just dumped on again or having, random fishing equipment left on it or car parts or whatever else. But I think the hurricane, if anything, has given more attention to this area. So I think it could be better for the dive future of this island if underwater gets as much attention as above water. If there was as much, resources coming in to clean up the underwater, Dominica's underwater world, we would be a lot better off. But unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people or organizations that are interested in putting their funds, their time, or their resources into something that they can't see or that doesn't affect them what they think directly. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay, now what sort of support have you guys received? Because I really don't like to get involved in government stuff and whatever. I don't give a fuck. However, I know a lot of times people are very dependent on the government because they expect the government to do this. So before I even get into what support you're doing. I want to applaud you guys for taking on the initiative and actually seeing the need to do stuff, because a lot of people, they just talk, and they don't actually act, right? But without support, sometimes, your momentum can die, especially when you're doing things on your own. What sort of support have you guys been receiving?
Okay. Well, we got sponsorship from Fall Ocean, which is an international organization that they do their own beach cleanups through volunteers, and they also assist other places in providing equipment for us to carry on beach cleanups elsewhere. And we received funding from LA Enterprise right here.
Woo-hoo! LA
Yeah.
Enterprise.
Yeah, local sponsorship. So they're going to be sponsoring us for the next few months. So
having that support was huge, because as we know on this island, having the support of your community is, again, part of why we moved here, being part of a community, being part of people that you can count on for things. And when you can find other people who want to do the same thing or looking for an outlet for it, LA Enterprise was looking for a way to help out with the environment, and we were happy to, work with them to make it happen. And it really has been amazing, because they also supplied volunteers, which is volunteers.
And the Fisheries Division and the Forestry, Wildlife, and Parks Division have actually helped us in a couple of beach cleanups with volunteers and raising awareness and what's happening. And it's good to have them too, because they're our government conservation and environmental groups. Fisheries is an aspect, forestry is the land aspect. So forestry would deal with the coastal stuff. So it's good to have them come and see firsthand what is going on. Like, I was talking to a fisheries officer the other day, and she was applauding this because it opened their eyes to how much fishermen actually contribute to the waste that they're pulling out from underwater. She was like, yeah, I noticed a lot of these scrap metals came from like boat motors and the fishing lines and those. But I mean, that's actually just a small part of the trash that we really found. So I'm not putting the blame on them. Yes, they have a part to play in how they dispose of it, but that was just a small portion. But it's good to have people from the community, local groups get on board with us so that we can raise awareness and open their eyes. Like Rotaract came. Yeah, Rotaract came for the interview about beach cleanup.
And then Rotary Club Portsmouth funded all of the recycling machines that we are using now.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
It was great to have Rotaract on board for that beach cleanup.
Yeah.
But also what was so unique, and I think you'll know, the reason why we're a team is because we bring a new dynamic to beach cleanup. The normal kind of beach cleanup, and you were saying before, was you go to a beach, you start picking up trash.
She's picking up trash on the land. Yeah. I'm picking up trash underwater. He's trying to find trash for pickle.
The is that plastic will just get taken off the beach and then put into landfill.
Yep.
And, we're actually doing something different in Dominique.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We have some people sharing some things here. Daniel Fidel is saying everyone should know about the plastic islands floating in the ocean. I actually learned yesterday with my students that plastic bags usually get removed from recycling machines. And so that is much harder to deal with. We made reusable eco bags for them to go shopping with. So that is Daniel Fidel, who is in Korea, sharing with us. Sharing with us right now. Okay, so you guys have come together to do this amazing venture, I call it. Before I even go any further, I want to big up LA Enterprise. If you're shopping in Dominica, check out LA Enterprise. My girl Judy and the rest of the gang, they're gonna hook you up. They're gonna give you all they have local produce and a bunch of other. I just gotta give my girl Judy a plug. Hello. So I'm gonna do that. Give her a plug there. But you guys have come together and have created this team, and you guys get people involved in recycling, in keeping things clean. Now, have solid waste actually shown any initiative? Because I know Dominica has a solid waste. They have a business, right? I hope it is, and I know part of their initiative before the hurricane. I see people laughing. Wow, I'm just. I it's because I know what's on the island. I can actually speak on this. So I know that there is a solid waste in Dominique. I don't know if post Maria they're no longer operating, but as far as I knew before Maria, solid waste was available in Dominica. What have they done? Because I feel, and I'm gonna speak from being out in Canada and the what.
You can speak freely. You can speak freely. Have fun. Speak for us, please.
I think,
Okay, so being in Canada, right?
in this
Sorry,
scenario,
myself.
the reality is there is a huge opportunity for us to work together. We're not necessarily what we're doing is not necessarily creating a business or anything like that, but it would be great if we could take the plastics and reduce what they need to come and collect. When we collect it and we put it in a place and we can set a arranged time and they come and collect it. That would be the ideal situation. Whether that's what happens now, I don't know.
Sorry, that's a good spin on things, right?
Good politician right here. This
Yes,
one.
yes, yeah, but it is an opportunity. I have to agree with you. It is an opportunity, and for those of you who are locking in, I don't know nothing about solid waste, so I'm not trying to throw no shade for nobody. I'm simply asking questions, right? Um, if you want to take shade, that's your business. Deal with me because I can deal with you too. Just putting it out there. However, I feel it's an opportunity for them to start at that level because people throw out their trash every single day, whether it's on the beach where people are partying and they drink and they leave their bottles there or whatever. Because even sometimes people are on the beach because I've experienced that, being in Dominica, that you're on the beach, you're drinking, and then you're looking around for a bin to put your stuff, and then you realize there's nowhere because you really wanna put it in a bin, right? And then you're like, okay, I put it in my car, and you probably put it on the inside of your car, but when you time to drive, you probably just kick it to the side and it fell off. It's happened to me. It's happened to me, right? And I'm sure it happens to a lot of people out there. It's not that we want to litter or we want to be litter bugs or whatever it is. There's some nasty people out there, you gotta admit. However, there's some people who actually would want to keep things clean, would want to have a proper place to put things in. Now, in terms of how I feel solid waste can probably come on, it's starting from home, because if at home you start teaching people properly how to dispose of their waste, then because I remember when I lived in Canada and when I lived full time in Canada, and we had 3 bins. We still have 3 bins, right? And it was to me, it was a nuisance at first, putting organic and regular waste and then recycle in 3 different bins. And then on this day of the week, you have to watch your calendar to see when trash is going to come and pick up this. And on this day of the week, you have to pay attention to that. And then going to Dominica or visiting and all of that, and seeing that, we call ourselves the nature island of the world, right? We got to start somewhere in terms of, even if you don't have 3 bins, but at least, separate the garbage from the bottle caps and all of these different things, and probably have a better system in place. I think it needs to start from home. What are your views on that?
Well, before I talk on that, I do have to say that we managed to get solid waste on the radio with us for the Earth Day cleanup that we were doing with fisheries and forestry. That's when Gail and I were doing a separate thing. They managed to come on the radio with us. They haven't yet come out to the beach, so that's the next step. But it was good enough that they came out to talk on the radio and raise the problem to them. So we're hoping, and we keep pushing to try and get representatives from solid waste to come to the beach cleanup so they can see firsthand what we're talking about. And
Solid
we're
waste
hoping
you're hearing? Come on the beach
Sorry?
cleanup. I'm saying solid waste you're hearing?
To be honest, both of us, even though we were doing separate beach cleanups for Earth Day, we came together on the question of how is solid waste dealing with, like, what have you done? So we each had gone about it totally different ways. We each had both got, commitments from solid waste. And then we had, honestly, I had friends taking bets against me as to when they would show up to actually take away the trash. Now, granted, I live directly above where we had piled our trash for Earth Day, so I can monitor it. I heard them loading up the truck, so I went outside, ran out, yay, they popped it. It was 3 days later. So while I beat some of my friends on their bets, others I did not, because they told me they'd be there the next day. So it was 3 days later. They were there. Awesome. Our Indian River beach cleanup, we couldn't just leave a pile of trash weighing almost 1,000 pounds at the Indian River Tourism Complex. So my awesome husband and his big truck hauled off all the trash to a proper dumpster, which would be removed later. But the point was that when we had to take responsibility for it ourselves. And if a single person can't take a responsibility for their cap or their bottle, and they rely on us putting our powers together to remove all of that trash for them, this is a lot harder work. If you go to the beach and maybe you kicked a bottle out of your car, bummer, wish you hadn't done that. But if you take with you 5 or 6 pieces of trash that you find on the beach when you leave and put it in a proper receptacle, awesome. You've just done something for the people that are on the beach right now and for your next trip to the beach. You make that tiny little difference each time you go, you're still making a difference. But you'll find that you'll start picking up more and more trash because it'll get more and more frustrating the more you see.
And you become more aware.
And you become more aware. And you'll be calling solid waste. And the problem is, again, that, we're not trying to we're trying to do something on an individual level, on a level that we know we can affect change in. We can't necessarily change the way that government does solid waste or the way that solid waste does their thing. We're not trying to step on their toes. We are just trying to educate people on a better way of doing what they're doing now. If you are putting your trash in the bin for your community, take out this stuff. Tell us your community is doing it, and we'll try to come and get it from you.
One of the easiest things that everyone can start doing right now in Dominica is collecting your plastic caps. So one type of plastic, it's super easy. Put them in a bag, and then we'll make something with it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that is awesome. So you guys have actually started, sensitizing the public and letting. So if you're viewing this right now, and you know somebody, or you're probably a lot of people from out of Dominic actually tune in, because of the internet aspect of things. But if you know somebody in Dominica, or not just Dominica, anywhere in the world where they dump those little caps and stuff, you need to know that it is going to hurt the environment that you live in. It's going to affect you. It might not affect you now, but it will affect your kids or your grandkids.
But also the other thing is, what I see a lot of, unfortunately, I can bring bags and bags of plastics to Rory that he can't use because they're so contaminated or they're so broken down already. They've got things growing on them, algae growing on them, corals even growing on them. And then he can't clean them. He can't recycle them. So once it's gotten to the stage that I'm finding a lot of these things, it's past the point of no return. So what I would love to see is this buffer. And at least if we can educate people enough, we can do enough on the beaches, we can collect enough for Rory, I won't be crying with these bags of plastic that we can do nothing with because they're
So what happens to those bags of plastic that you can do nothing with?
You have to throw them away like everything else. When I find plastics and Rory finds plastics on the beach that have been burned, they're not usable anymore. They don't have the same structural integrity. They don't have the same chemical composition. Everything changes once those salts and those flames get to it, you just have all kinds of things happening. We can't guarantee any of those materials.
That's why we're trying to do a trash to art campaign. So next month we go in contact with a gallery where we're going to take some of these items that we found on beaches and create installations and items for an exhibition. So things like that, you know, we can use them and create art pieces and turn it into something that people wouldn't want to have displayed in their house. So that's just, you know, one step away from the landfill, I guess, because these things take decades on decades to decompose, and we're a small island. You know, how much trash can we actually hold? How much trash do we want to hold? And yeah, another thing about like putting it in bags for the dumps is that one problem here is, you know, you put your bags out, but you know, there's dogs, cats come, even chickens come, and they open up the bags, and then those things blow away, and where do they end up? So
back in the river, back on the beach, back on the ocean, and
the more ways we can try and find a way to use those bits of plastic, you know, whether it's for recycling or those that can't be recycled, we turn it into something that people would think beautiful to display in their house or wherever.
Or a reminder of what not to purchase.
Yeah, you know, stick it up somewhere in a poster board or something to be like, don't do this.
Well, not to flag my people or anything, because, you know, I'm Dominican. But I remember when I think some supermarkets decided to take on this campaign where the No Plastic Saturday. The amount of cussing. Dominicans cuss. I heard with my ear, right? I'm not talking.
I felt so bad. LA Enterprise was trying to go no plastic. They were handing out paper bags or offering people boxes to take with them. And I was like applauding them. I thought it was the greatest thing. And Judy told me how much they were getting cussed out and their cashiers were getting cussed out.
And it's not only them. A lot of supermarkets experience the exact same thing.
One of the things that I talked with LA Enterprise about in particular was trying to find a way, because I know that the reason they want their plastic bags is because they want a garbage bag. So even if it was for a month that we tried it out, where people bring in your own bag, or we give you a reusable bag, and then we give you one biodegradable trash bag with your purchase. So you're not getting a plastic bag, you're getting at least a biodegradable bag, a bag that is, you know, slightly better for the environment. You're not having to pay extra for it, because that's the other thing. No one wants to pay extra for these things, but you need to replace that trash bag because everyone wants their free trash bag. That's like one of the biggest problems. So if there was any way, unfortunately here, again, we have the problem of duties and stuff where it makes biodegradable things really expensive. So you're only getting people who really can afford, businesses that know they're getting tourism money that can afford to do these things. I want to see if there's any way that we can affect the kind of change that will make it affordable for all businesses to be able to do this, rather than just, you know, these green superior businesses. Like that should be for everyone, not just for a certain, you know, tax bracket.
Would be to follow Trinidad and you tax styrofoam, non-biodegradable plastic.
Tax the bad stuff, not the good stuff.
Exactly, and then that tax, they actually have it going into a green fund that funds conservation, and then the biodegradable.
I think Antigua did it as well. Plastic
bags. There are a lot of, one of the great things about Project Aware in particular, so all of our data goes to Project Aware. And that data it's part of a worldwide database. You can actually go on an interactive map and see how much trash, what kind of trash is being pulled out of the ocean and off beaches all over the world. And a big part of what they do is supply individuals like us with more data to back up what we're trying to tell the government. So when we try to actually make change happen on a government level, on a nationwide level, we can do, policy can actually change because we have all of this raw data that says this isn't just your problem, this is a worldwide problem, be a part of the solution. So to me, that's a huge asset for us to show them what we're taking off of these beaches and out of the oceans so that they can help us. They were the ones that helped ban plastics in Vanuatu, in Fiji, and I know that with that, we can possibly do that here.
Yeah, and we're the nature island, so
it seems like it would be it would work perfectly.
One day.
No, I think we're very set in our ways, and it's easier to just get a plastic bag and use it for your garbage. And again, like you mentioned, Kayla, a lot of times even the biodegradable bags are very expensive. I mean, pay almost twice the price for biodegradable than just getting the good old fashioned plastic bag. One of the things I'd like to see a lot of places adopt is, having people coming in with their bags, their green bags, as we call it up here. Have your bags with you and stuff. I know it's gonna be hard to start, but think about it. If you're using your caps and your bottles and your stuff, and you're actually bringing it to Rory, so that is one less garbage bag you're gonna need, because I'm sure Rory will give them back their bag, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So you bring your plastics to Rory. Your organic is perfect for the earth. You put it right back into the earth.
You're regrow the trees here. Come on, we need it.
Exactly. You're really just left with stuff that in between stuff, that you can't really bury or recycle, and it actually cuts down on the amount of garbage that you have, which would mean less garbage for solid waste to pick up. So I mean, I think
we don't want to dump bigger than all of our beautiful mountains, do we? Yeah. Like that, we don't want that to be our tallest peak. Yeah, one more mountain. We don't want that on this island. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it needs to start in the schools. It needs to start, it needs to start in people's homes, and people have to actually be passionate about wanting to conserve the environment, because you can talk until you're blue. If they don't give two rats ass about, the future of their kids, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really force the point. So you might come from California and want to save the entire ocean, and you might come from the UK or Scotland and try and save all of the plastics to make Lego toys. But if you don't give a shit, at the end of the day, it all goes to waste. Waste. So people need to.
Education comes in a huge play, and that's why we're trying to perfect a curriculum for environmental education to go into school, so we can start teaching kids from young, and they'll grow up with it. And what a lot of research has found is that kids actually create that change that we want. Like, they will go back and they will force their parents. So a lot of people say, oh, but the parents might say, don't do this, don't do that. That's nonsense. But if you get the kids doing it, like,
kids will tell a parent,
they will tell you
off. Choke a turtle. That plastic bag is gonna kill and those little kids are the ones that are. I was that little child. My mother will tell you. I think it was my 5th or 6th birthday. I made all my friends make their own little garbage bags, and we went around and we cleaned up a nature conservatory. And this is it was put in me as a child. I know 80s babies all across the world grew up with Captain Planet and stuff are all about it was ingrained in us in youth. And there's certain generations that I think are more inclined to that kind of thinking. And I think there are certain generations that are more inclined to disposable lifestyles. Everything is disposable. I also think it's cultural. So there is a lot of that kind of comes into play, but it's a matter of finding those people. And I think it's really been apparent in the people that come out for our beach cleanups with the demographic that's coming out. It's the kind of people that you don't usually see coming out for positive social change in ways that you're not enticing them with alcohol, we have a very surprising turnout of, I think, young people and people who are interested in teaching their children about these things, people with young kids who are interested and really they see the value in educating their own children, which is a lot different from having that total generational separation. So I feel like we're really lucky with the audience we have because they want to bring more people in. It's not just a stagnant pool of people who are all just preaching to each other. Yeah. They want to bring other people in. And I think that's why we've had a lot of success with the fishermen too that we've worked with, because they see the value for themselves. They want fish that aren't full of plastic. Yeah. They, so I think in those kind of outreach situations, we've had a lot of luck so far.
Yeah, but sometimes too, yes, education is great and you should go for that route always. But sometimes you need policy to force education and change behavior. So yes, I know a lot of Dominicans curse about their plastic, but I'm pretty sure in Antigua a lot of people curse about the plastic too. And after a while, they just had such a good system in place that people got used to it. And I'm actually seeing...
You forget your bag the first few times, you don't forget it the next time, because you don't want to pay for another reusable bag or whatever the program is.
Yeah, and I've actually walked into a few stores like Minions and stuff, and I've seen people slowly but surely the numbers are growing where they're bringing in reusable bags. And a few times I forgot my bag because it was just a spontaneous trip. And this happened, mostly at Minions. They would provide me with boxes. I would be like, oh shoot, I forgot my reusable bag, and cashiers would actually go out of their way to get boxes.
Get a box, yeah,
for me to put stuff into. So yeah, a lot of Dominicans curse, but sometimes it's just a matter of getting used to things, because I'm pretty sure people all over the world curse when different places ban plastic, because it's something we're so used to. It's like a sudden change. And it's not just banning plastic, it's happening for a lot of other things.
If you can ban smoking cigarettes in a New York City nightclub, you can ban plastics in a small island and survive.
I think they just need to take a stand and do it. And once it's done, I think, because it's you're not doing something that is going to have a negative effect. You're actually doing something that will have a positive effect, and people will have no other choice but to follow suit. If you're gonna do it, then people are gonna know about it, and you're gonna, whether it's a fine, whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, once a policy is put in place, you don't have a choice but to abide by it. And if you don't abide by it, of course, you pay the price, right? We have Yamin here is saying, I'm excited about your project and I look forward to the day when it will be a national project in Dominica. God bless you all. She's also saying congratulations for taking on this massive project, and a very long story also. So, she's just giving some feedback, as I guess her experience and stuff. But a few people are coming on. Gloria is also saying, Gloria McLaurin is saying she's liking this. I just want to encourage you, if you're just tuning in right about now, we're about wrapping up, but hit the share button. You want somebody in Dominica to know, tag them in the post. You want them to know what is going on, because these three people are going from community to community and picking up your shite. They're picking up your garbage. They're doing something about recycling. They're doing something about cleaning the beaches. They're trying to make the ocean more friendly for the fishes or the animals that live in the ocean. They're trying all these different ways to act, and they're doing it on their own. I'm going to say something in Creole, which you probably will not understand. But si ou pa vle fè, yo ka fè ba, you pa suppose ka fè ba, you suppose fè pou ko. And I'm just saying, if you cannot, you need to start doing it for yourselves and stop letting other people do it for you. It is our nature island. It is our country. We want to be resilient. We want to have a change. We want, we say, okay, global warming is this, and we want climate change, and we want all of this. But change has to first start with us. So we first have to start saying, hey, let me not bring in that plastic bag. Let me not take that plastic bag. Or if I have plastic bags at my home right now, I'm going to use them until they fall apart, until I can't use them no more, because I want to get rid. Yeah.
It's not taking the bag, but making the right choices about what you bring into your household, what you consume for yourself. This is another reason I get it. After the hurricane, we had to use a lot of tin things. We have to use a lot of, canned goods, goods and stuff like that. I totally understand. I live that life. I get it. But at the same time, we don't need necessarily all this single-use plastic, one tiny little thing of chips or one tiny little thing of cookies. Each comes with a plastic wrapper that lasts a lot longer than it's going to take you to eat it. It's going to last a lot longer than it probably takes you before you forget about eating it, and that, you know, it's going to be there forever. So if you just think about those things, it'll also help you just be a healthier person in general. Less processed foods, better. But it is going to make a difference in the amount of trash you have. If most of your trash is organic, it's going into your garden, great. Who knows? Maybe those peppers you throw out will be plants and you'll be able to eat off your land again. But if it's, you know, soda in a bottle, that's something that's going to last forever. Water in a bottle, unfortunately. Come on, this is Dominica. We have the Seuss, like, we have water everywhere that you can get. You don't necessarily need bottled water anymore. Reuse your bottles. Like, they're practical.
Well, you say that, right? You made that point, that water bottle point. And I must say, like, I would have thought by now, like, Dominica Brewery would have gotten, for one, the bottles that Dominica Brewery uses, not to flag Dominica, they're high-tech bottles. They're like bottles you see like at like champagne cocktail events. Like, I go to other islands and the quality of the bottle is so like weak, so like feeble. By the time you open the bottle, you just have to like drink it quickly, you know, because it's falling apart on you. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, right? But I find the quality of the bottle that they have, I feel they need to consider at least, you know, getting a more flimsy, for lack of a better word, bottle, you know, and start, because there were times when they actually ran out of bottles. I don't know if you remember, Janelle, they ran out of bottles to bottle water, you know, and we have so much bottles in Dominica. Like, the quality of it needs to change. Like, get something softer, you know, something that, of course, Rory can pick up and do something with, and probably resend back to them, you know, so that they can reuse and stuff. Because at the end of the day, all of this is just staying in the ocean. It's just going out in the rivers. It is destroying our environment. It's destroying what we call the nature island of the world. I want to hear your final words, guys.
Well, mine is probably going to be the shameless plug of
Go for it.
Well, I just want to put out a call to artists for our Trash to Art campaign, which we're hoping to start July 5th at the Cleveland Cinema. So if anybody who thinks they can take some trash off the beach or trash from their house or something and make it into a beautiful art, or just anything that can help us raise awareness to the problem that's going on for us, to put an exhibition and get people to come through and talk to them about it, that would be great. And we're also doing a workshop on June 23rd, hopefully, to help people create art from trash and to show them some examples, and have Rory come and bring his machine down to Rosa so people can see firsthand like what plastic shredding is all about.
Then my plug is, you know, Dominique, so much is going to happen in the next few weeks and months, and I want to say just like our Facebook page or our Instagram, so it's Recycle Rebuild, and you're going to see all these great things being made out of what would normally be considered waste. And hopefully, you know, in the next few months, we can start collecting all of these plastics from all the different districts and really turning it into something that we can make and design.
And for me, finally, people can follow everything I do at oursaltypassports.com. We have a very comprehensive blog that started when we first moved to Dominica, goes through the hurricane and kind of everything that we've done since the hurricane, try to help our community, and specifically underwater. We have events coming up, obviously, with all of us. We also have... June 24th is our next big cleanup event. So we're going to do our monthly cleanup events. I also have a lot of information about our Adopt a Dive site, how people can assist and how people can help with future beach cleanups, with underwater cleanups. And I think also on, what else is coming up? Dive Fest and Women's Dive Day, which is basically trying to bring more women into the underwater world, especially on this island. Kind of letting women know that your options are endless. If you love the ocean, I have a place for you. come join me in the sea. I want to see women in the ocean doing magical things, taking trash out, and becoming more ambassadors for our beautiful ocean.
I went snorkeling once, right? Once, yeah. I've gone once, and I absolutely enjoyed it.
Dominique.
When I do, when I do, I'll let you know, right? But I've been once, and I really enjoyed it because I always call myself a sea girl because I love the ocean. I would go with my dad on fishing boats, go all the way out. We went to Mary Gallant we did Les Saints, and stuff as a young child growing up, right? So I've always loved the ocean and stuff, but I've never really had the opportunity to experience, like the underworld, like you have, Kayla. And I remember that one time I went snorkeling. Big up to Al Dive. Billy actually took me. Yes, big up to Billy. He took me, and I had an amazing time. Oh my God. Like down there is so much prettier. And you know what is scary? Like you can hear your thoughts and shit. And I was like, oh shit. I was feeling like I was kind of crazy.
A little calm and just hear your thoughts while scuba diving.
Dude, like that shit can like I can see why people who scuba dive are like super. They either really calm or they always get drunk really fast. because you have so much time with yourself. It's like there's nobody else there. I mean, like
it's zen. It's like it's everything under the ocean. Well, that's what it would be if I wasn't constantly seeing more trash.
So
yeah, recently it's been a little stressful. So I'd like to take you in an area that's trash free.
All right, one of these days when I come back, I will definitely hit you up so that we could do well, you live in Tukari. My cousin actually, keeping it real, that's my cousin.
Yeah.
Derek. So I am always down his way whenever I'm around. So hopefully one of these days I can get to hang out with you guys and see the underworld. I want to say I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I think you guys grabbed the bull by the horn and you decided, hey, we're not going to wait for somebody to do it. We're going to do it. But you guys need the support. So I'm urging people out there, and it's not necessarily the support of just businesses, but you can do your own part within your homes, within your communities, in your schools, in the hospitals. You can do your part when it comes to recycling, when it comes to keeping the environment clean, when it comes to not polluting the beaches, the rivers. You go on your river line, make sure you pick up your shite after your river line. You go you go to the beach, make sure you leave with your trash. If there's no trash can, keep an extra bag in your back of your vehicle and take your shite with you. It's about protecting the environment. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have a space or a place that our kids and our grandkids can enjoy. I want to say kudos to the three of you for what you're doing. Crystal from Barbados just came on here. She says, great initiative. We have a few folks coming in. Oh, Judy from LA Enterprise said she's locked in. So there are a few folks coming on. I just want to remind you guys to share the link with a friend, tag somebody in there. Go back and you can listen to the entire thing. Leave a comment. The video will actually be on my website. Again, the video and the audio will be there in 24 hours. So you can take the link. You can grab the link. You can share it with a friend, share it with a foe, leave a comment. Let us know how you enjoy the show. I want to say I really appreciate the three of you taking the time out of your schedule to speak with me. And I want to encourage folks to go to their social media pages and follow them so you can learn when they're going to be doing the next cleanup, where they're going to be doing the next cleanup, and you can join them. You could probably make it a family affair. Probably you and your bestie or you and your bae can do your own part to help conserve the environment, however you want to do it. But I think it's important. I think it's very...
That's fine.
I mean, if Janelle has her man picking up garbage with her, I mean, you can do it too. Anybody can do that, right? Right. So great initiative, guys. Kudos to the three of you for doing this. And I hope that in the end, or that somebody will take up the mantle or help you guys continue with what you guys are doing, because I think it's an awesome idea. I think you're what you're doing will impact Dominica, and the Dominica that our kids will live in. Right. So thank you so very much for taking time out. Thanks to all those of you who've come on, who've tuned in. I know it's Saturdays are sometimes a busy day for folks, but thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And of course, whenever you're on, drop a line. Let me know you're on so I can shout you out. You get a little shout out. I just see Carol Larrock said, "Nice way to recycle." She's applauding you guys. But thanks again, guys, for being on with me. I really, really, really appreciated it. And I wish you guys all the best in your individual, what you guys are doing individually. And it's good to see that three people from three completely different backgrounds can come together for one main cause. And of course, that cause is to save the earth, because that's what's going to happen, right? Right. Thanks, guys, for being on here on Cacoa Tea. Enjoy your Cacoa. I see Janelle never put her Cacoa tea in her mouth. I don't know if she doesn't like the Cacoa.
She gets to go make it harder about.
It was nice meeting you, Rory. And Kayla, it was nice chatting with you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on again. And don't forget, people, follow them on all their social media so you can know what's going on next, where they're going to be next, and you can hop on and join in and make it fun. Make it fun cleaning up the beach and the rivers and the environment. Kudos to all of you, and thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Much love. Next week we have another exciting show. We're talking to someone who is in Atlanta right now, who is from Dominica but representing Atlanta, doing his thing in the music industry. So tune in next week to another episode of Cacoa Tea. Don't forget to subscribe, like, love. Also, don't forget you get an opportunity to win a costume. Are any of you going to Barbados for crop over? Janelle, you're not going to Barbados for crop over?
We'll be underwater.
Well, there's a great opportunity to win a costume for crop over. More of the information is on my Facebook page and all social media. So you can Kept Free Culture. You can get an opportunity to win a free costume. You know how much costumes cost for crop over? Janelle, give them an idea.
I have no idea.
I'm always clothing.
Yeah, so you get a chance to win a free costume, and it's very, very easy. It's not going to cost you a dime. All you got to do is share the video. You got to then follow a few social media pages, and then you got to subscribe to one page, and that's it. And you get entered into the draw, and we announce it on July the 7th. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to Cacoa Tea. Until next time, love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.